So one of the things I've shared earlier with regards to finance, and while I was meditating this morning, I kind of collided with something that I felt is important to share with you guys, and that is the importance or the awareness of warfare when it comes to finance. I've talked about three important acumen: business acumen, financial acumen, and spiritual acumen. All these three acumen, in order to be great, require some level of contention or warfare. If you want to do business, you have to understand competition analysis, strategic management, know what the competition is doing, how to outsmart the market, what's the unique selling point, what differentiates you from the market. All of these things are actually acts of warfare that people don't understand because we don't understand the rules of the market. But here, I'm talking about finances, wealth, investment, capital, money. It's important to know that if you really want to touch the huge things, you have to be ready for warfare. But the thing is that a lot of people are not ready for warfare. They are scared of it. They don't have the resources, the capabilities, or the capacities to handle these things. And one of the ways to engage this, the place of warfare is in the mind when we're talking about financial acumen. If you were available in the last session I had, I mentioned how important it is connecting with the rivers. And there are different channels you can use. The channel of the rain, which are the mercy of the seasons, the channel of the well. You have to do a lot to dig in, but once you dig a well, you can't leave that position, or the channel of the river, and then you follow wherever the river goes. The river usually has the propensity of the highest amount of financial capital available to you. However, the way many people engage wealth, money, finances is from a place of scarcity and not abundance. That is why many of the results they give in their life is nothing to write home about. And so, I was speaking with one of the premium clients of LAMAD Africa, and we're just having conversations. I always like to have conversations with premium clients because they ask a lot of questions, and because they are people who already have the resources to engage whatever you tell them, and so they can go into implementation and execution like just right there. But a lot more people, they have the information, but they don't have the capacity or the resources to do something with that information. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so when it comes to financial warfare, it's about how exposed, how expansed is your mind in order to handle certain kinds of money. If I give you a test now, and I say that before the end of December 2024, I beg your pardon, you must be able to make 10 times the amount of money you made in 2023 alone. That means that you have about 9 more months to make 10 times what you made in the whole of last year. Now, this is where the financial warfare comes. It is the ability to sit down and think, be creative, be strategic, be spiritual, and understand what it takes to make 10 times. The problem is that a lot of people do not understand how to think in financial terms, in capital terms, in competency terms. And that's why they might set audacious goals, but months in, months out, nothing happens, and they are not able to meet those goals. So what are you supposed to do with financial warfare? Imagine if you're supposed to make 10 times. Let's bring it up to terms. So imagine in a year you make 10 million naira. Let's say you make 10 million naira all through 2023. It means that in order to make 10 times of that, 10 times 10 million is 100 million. So that means in 2024, your goal is to make 100 million. Do you know that you cannot make 100 million with the structures, with the systems, and the mentality that gave you 10 million? But the thing is that a lot of people did not even know the mentality that gave them 10 million. What I mean by that is they don't know how to reproduce it, or the reproduction of that mentality is at their disadvantage. What do I mean by it's at their disadvantage? So, for example, if you have just one stream of income and that income is a 9 to 5, it is almost impossible for you to make 10 times what you made last year from your 9 to 5. Almost impossible. Rarely happens for anyone. So that means that if you stick to making money through your 9 to 5, you cannot achieve that goal, or it becomes almost impossible to do so. And so if you stay at that job as your only source of finance, you cannot bring that dream to reality. That means you've put golden cuffs on your hand and you cannot think beyond your current space. Now, in order to make 10 times what you currently are making in a year, you must change the way you think about money. You must change how you execute things about money. You must understand where you are first. What are the forces, internal and external forces, that are responsible for your financial capacity at this time? And what will it take to stretch that capacity from 10 to 100 million in 9 months? Now, that is warfare. And so a lot of people lose the war even before it starts because they do not have that courage to engage things that seem impossible for them. And one of the things you need to understand if you're a believer is that you're supposed to keep pushing yourself and garnering more resources, capacity in order to do that. So, for example, what are some of the things you need to begin to look at that produced 10 million to you, and what are the things that can produce 100 million? The first thing is, do you have frame of perception? What is the frame of perception? Do you have anyone in your space who has made that kind of money before? If you don't have physically, do you have virtual connections with anyone who has? If you can find someone who has, what are the systems and structures these people have in terms of the kind of work they do, how they manage their time, the kind of relationship they have, and the kind of systems they've created around the flow of money? What kind of flow of money do they have? Is it the rain flow? Is it the well flow? Or is it the river flow? How do they draw or channel those things? How long did it take them to get to the level they're at? What are the challenges? What are the constant things? Have they been betrayed? What sense of character development did they need in order to have that level of fortitude? These are the things you need to begin to research and find. And so when you find someone who has done that, you listen to them until something clicks in your spirit. That click is the shifting of a gear. For example, for people who have used manual automotives, automobiles in the past, when you shift a gear, there is a sound. And when you shift that gear, your driving experience changes. For example, we all know that the first gear 1, is the strongest, however, is the slowest. As you begin to shift, you begin to lose a bit more control, but you are trading that control for speed. So what that means, sister, if you used to earn 10 million naira per year and you need to start earning 100 million per year, there must be something to trade. You cannot do the same thing that gave you 10 million and expect that it's going to give you 100. It never happens. So you must begin to think in terms of transactions, think in terms of negotiations, think in terms of leverages that opens you into the space where those kind of people function. It might be a lot for people who have not made that kind of money before, and because they don't even know where to start. And this is where I can tell you that there is no one who made that level of money that did it alone. There is a system of people, mentoring, coaching, sponsorship, okay? And then they moved from the business of finance to the politics of finance. So you see why it's important for you to begin to engage the politics of finance, because there's certain cap of money you cannot have if you continue to dwell in the business of finance. And so there is so much more, but I just feel that you need to begin to expand. And these are some of the problems you'd have if you want to make that move. Number one, you don't see it happening. You can deceive yourself to say, I name it, I claim it. But until something clicks in your mind's eye and you see it, and then you see the possibility of making it, and then your mind can create a map, a step of how to get it done, that's when it clicks. Some people are in the wrong frame of existence. Their environment does not support it. The things they see every morning does not support it. They live in the part of town where people don't make that kind of money. People don't live that kind of way. So that means that there are certain restructurings and adjustments and reinvention that is needed if you want to do that. Some people just don't have the courage to sit down and set a map. This is where thinking is important. Now, in this stage of warfare, this warfare is done by imaginations and thought. It is he who has superior imaginations and thought that wins. So, the quality of your thoughts are important. What are the kind of things you consume on social media? Are you just into all of the skits, or you go into something that will inform you in that direction? So you can begin to see how, if you want your finances to change, your life must change, your state must change, your mentality must change. A lot of things must change. And there are many things you do not yet know, but are in the hands of other people that you need to connect with. Are you someone who stays at home? Do you connect? Do you go for lunch? Do you take your mentors for breakfast? Do you subscribe to coaching that would actually help you to open your eyes to more things? Okay. Do you actually learn how to meditate for more money? The kind of meditation that gives you 10 million is not the kind that gives you 100 million. It's a whole different game. So what I'm telling you is this. If you continue to stay where you are, you will continue to have the kind of results that you have. But I believe you know that it's in your destiny and in your reality to have more. 10 times what you made last year is possible. The first thing is for you to believe it's possible. And the moment you begin to believe, that's when you're moving your mind away from where you are, and you're moving to a better mental location that brings the possibilities and propensities of those things to you. This is warfare, guys. It's a different kind of warfare. It's not about casting and biting. It's about imaginations and thought. It starts there. And then you begin to build it into your life to make sure that you change your life. You become the kind of person that can attract that kind of. So the kind of work you would do, the value for your time would change. The kind of products, how you use your time, the streams of income you have, all of those things will change. And so this is me telling you that if you're thinking of doing big things, great things, and you're all alone, you don't have coaches, you don't have mentors, you don't have teachers, you don't have people whose words empower you, I'm sorry, you might stay there longer than you think. And you have the capacity to make all 10 times, all the amount of money you did not make in last year, you can make it this year. But it's up to you to decide that you are ready to invest in making your life better and improving the quality of what comes to you. I hope this helps you and makes you know that you cannot continue to stay where you are. It's time to move.